reused equipment would normally be considered as waste also if the equipment is not complete, if it shows a defect or a physical damage. And as I said, also if it's inappropriate protected. Another very important point is the item is waste if its appearance is worn. Other criteria to distinguish between waste and non-waste is if the equipment has among his constituent parts of hazardous components such as PCB and CFCs. And the other destination than reuse, if the equipment is designed for disposal or recycling. It's also important to check out if there is a regular market in the country of import. So, for example, we consider black and white TV as waste, as nobody these days wants to have a black and white TV at home. It's also not possible to export equipment to gain spare parts out of it. And it's an indication that if the price is significantly lower than would be expected, that this has to be classified as waste equipment. So if you open page 9 of the manual, you can see this flow chart that gives you an indication how to distinguish between waste and non-waste. The first question is, has the functionality of the item been evaluated or tested? If not, or if you don't know, you have to consider it as waste. And the second question is, can the item be reused before prior repair or refurbishment? And in this case only, also if you have to first repair it for reuse, then the item is considered waste. Additionally, the third question mentions this national law or regulation. So you have always to check if the country of import has specific rules on importing items. This could be in the case of Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal and Egypt. They have specific import restriction on used cars. This is not based on waste law, but still this is a law that has to be taken care of. And there is other national restrictions. For example, some countries do not allow to come in computers that are older than 5 years old. If it comes to the question if an item is hazardous or non-hazardous, then you can use the annexes of the Basel Convention. There is, for hazardous waste, Annex 8 with the code for electronic equipment A1180. You have also in your folder a hard copy of the Basel Convention. For items that are non-hazardous, you need a code from Annex 9. These are mainly classified regarding electronic waste with B1110. So we want you to keep in mind these two classification codes, as well as the number of the annexes, as we will work with them at the group work after the presentation. You can also find in the e-waste enforcement manual from Impel on page 12 a list of examples of electronic hardware. But nevertheless, I think Jaco will talk about these fractions in more detail in the afternoon. But this gives you an impression about what parts could be hazardous and not. Oh, sehr gut. We want also to show you some national brochures. For example, the Dutch colleague, they made a brochure that it's available in English and French. You have the English hard copy, where, for example, if you go on page 6, you see a picture of a fridge with cut power cables. If an item has cut power cables, it's classified as waste. And in the same brochure on page 11, you find a very useful list of the most common refrigerants. The green ones are the allowed refrigerants, and the red ones the forbidden. I think you only got the black and white copy, but we did provide you in the additional reading with the soft copies. So you can go online and download your...
No, it's
it's the...
Yeah, to this we will come out. No,
we did distribute this before. It's like one this? Of... Okay. Yes, this one.
Thank you. I'm sorry, thank you.
And when it comes to waste plastics, here we have to distinguish between non-hazardous and hazardous. And the problem is that quite a lot of the plastic from the e-waste has flame retardant. And this, depending on the amount of this flame retardant, are hazardous. And from this point of view, to be sure, it would be useful to look towards the hazardous side of it. On the other hand, from the regulation which we have got now in Europe, this flame retardant have to be phased out, but it will take at least another 5 or 8 years. So for the next time you will have still this problem. And when it comes to cable, there we have also the situation of non-hazardous and hazardous. And so you have to also look at it and use the different classifications. The one for non-hazardous is B1115, and for hazardous is A1119. And with batteries we have a similar situation, non-hazardous or hazardous. And here we have also to look at the different codes. And with lead-acid batteries, it is obvious that it is hazardous, and they have a particular code which is A1160. And when it comes to refrigerators, there we have the situation that there is no Basel code applicable, and the OCD code would be AC 150, but we use normally the European waste code, which is 140601. So this is only a short presentation of this tool, and if you have questions, now we can start.